Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back, and watching. Hope your day is going super awesome. I'm in Luminar 4, have another kind of a quick tip for you. And if you haven't yet checked out my Luminar 4 series of tutorial videos, click that link right there. That'll take you to my playlist. I've got a bunch of videos there. But one of the things that came up a number of times, comments from viewers was, hey Jim, how do I export a photo from Luminar 4 if I'm using the library? But there's a couple things to think about and I wanted to share with you. So let me give you a couple of tips and tricks here. I've also got some more workflow videos and some deep dive videos I'm going to be working on. So that'll be coming. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And let's get into it. Here I am. I'm just in a test folder. I've got this image here that I've edited. And let's say, hey, I'm happy with it. I'm ready to go. So you got a couple of options. The first one is in the upper left. If you click on File, you go to Export. And if you click on Export, you'll get some options here, and I'll dive into these and give you a couple of things to think about here in a moment. I'm going to hit Cancel, but that's a quick way to get to it. I also wanted to point out, right there next to Export, you have Share, I should say, where you can go to your Mail, Messages, Flickr if you're using that, LinkedIn, and SmugMug. You also have Open In if you want to open the photo in one of those other apps. While this is about exporting, I wanted to point out the Share and Open In because if you come over here, a second option for exporting, again, make sure you have that highlight around your photo, right? If you click on that photo, you're going to export that. So I should have pointed that out. Single click on the image, and if it's got that yellow box around it, that means you've selected it. Anyway, I wanted to point out the other options because this icon here is also export to image, but you have the share options also on that icon, as well as the open in, same as you had in that upper left menu when you clicked on File in the drop down. So again, here you get export to image and you get some choices. And one last place you can do it, really it's the same place, but if you're in the image, so let's say you're in the edit window and you've made edits to this photo and hey, I'm happy, this looks great, let's export the photo. Once again, you have this same icon at the top. Just click on that and once again, you can click export to image. And here's where you have some options. I'd like to dive into those for just a second. Okay, the first thing is Save As. So this is where you can rename your file. So you can call this, awesome landscape, whatever, that's dumb, but you know what I'm saying. You can add tags if you would like to. And over here is where you choose where you're going to save it to. I generally just save to my desktop and then I go about sharing it or do whatever it is that I'm going to do with it. However, you can choose different folders. Here you can apply some sharpening. Here you can resize. So I generally use original, but for social media use, a lot of people will just export based on certain dimensions. So you can come in here and pick the dimensions, and you can see this is 6,000 by 4,000. This was shot with a 24 megapixel camera. So it's 6,000 by 4,000 pixels. You can come in here and resize that based on dimensions. But for social media, a lot of people will just say long edge, and then you can come over here and say, I want 2,400 pixels, and that'll be the long edge, which will be across the horizontal, right? Versus the vertical in this photo. So you could choose that. Color space can get to be a very technical conversation, and just to be clear, I'm not an expert in it, and I do not want to give you any idea that I am, because I'm not. To put it in very simple terms, if you're exporting and you're going to share this on the web, just use Srgb. That's kind of the standard. It's a widely accepted format. And the reason I recommend that is because most browsers are going to see all the colors the same. So you might look at it on Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, Firefox, whatever, and probably the colors are all going to look the same if you use Srgb. Some of the other options include Adobe RGB, which I personally really never use, and ProPhoto RGB. ProPhoto I do use sometimes, but only in a couple of situations. One is there's a print shop that I work with to print large photos for customers, and sometimes they'll say, send me a TIFF and send it in ProPhoto, in which case I will change my color space to ProPhoto, and I will change the format, which is the next section, to TIFF. And you'll notice when I hit TIFF, I get a drop-down menu that has some additional options. I will choose no compression, and I will choose 16-bit depth, and I'll choose 300 dpi. That's just what my printer likes, and honestly, I've printed things on JPEG and I've printed things on TIFF. I'm also not an expert in printer or in printing. If I printed them myself, I'll just use Srgb and use a JPEG. But if I'm uploading a really large image, and I want my printer to take my printer company to take a close look at it, and they might have some massaging, for lack of a better word, that they want to do. I'll send it in ProPhoto with TIFF and uncompressed 16-bit 300 DPI. Again, but oh, by the way, I will go with original dimensions in that case, because I do not want to send my printer a smaller photo. I want to send it to them full size. So there's something to think about. And again, these different formats have their pros and cons, but JPEG for the web in sRGB, I think, is ideal. There you go. And you'll notice here that you have a quality slider. I usually put it around 80 or 85, something like that. I generally use original dimensions. And like on Flickr, I'll put it at original dimensions, sRGB, JPEG, like 80 or 85 quality. The larger the quality, the little bit bigger the size is going to be. So at quality 100, you're going to get a bigger photo than if you're at quality 50 or something, right? So just keep that in mind. This is where I wanted to point out some of the differences in these ProPhoto color spaces, ProPhoto versus sRGB. And again, I recommend Googling it if you want to get into it. If you're using it just for sharing on the web or sharing on Flickr or whatever it is, Facebook, Instagram, just use sRGB and JPEG. It's easiest and most applicable. I actually years ago exported a number of photos in ProPhoto RGB as a TIFF, and I put them on Flickr in that format accidentally. And I was looking at them and I was like, what the hell is wrong with these colors? And it was because the photo space in the TIFF, Flickr at the time at least, didn't recognize it, and so it was showing colors differently than I actually saw them in my application, which at the time was Lightroom. So you do have some options here if you want to get into that and learn a whole lot about it. I recommend Googling that. I just wanted to point that out. But then export the photo. Just click the export button. It'll be on your desktop or wherever you saved it, and then you can upload it to the web. And that's really it. That's some basic, simple stuff. Again, if you want to do some homework, check out some of the articles. I recommend just Googling photo spaces, or Google maybe sRGB versus ProPhoto. You'll find a number of articles, and that may be some stuff you'd like to get into. But that's it. A quick video. Hopefully give you a couple of things to think about and some tips. And that's it for today, my friends. I'll be back soon with more Luminar 4 videos, including some workflow and some deep dives that are coming soon. So thanks for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't yet. And by all means, let me know your thoughts on this video by liking and commenting down below. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care, and adios.